Hey, Jason here from Simply Swider. If your roper washer fills and agitates perfectly but then refuses to spin, leaving your clothes soaking wet, you're in the right place. In this video, I'll walk you through the 5 most common causes and show you exactly how to fix each one. Most take under 30 minutes and cost less than $50. Before we get started, if you run into any questions, jump into our Facebook group. Links in the description. We've got thousands of people helping each other fix their appliances, and I pop in there daily to help out. All right, so here's the deal with roper washers that won't spin. There's usually 5 main culprits, and we're going to tackle them from the most common to the least common. I'm going to show you how to identify each problem and walk you through the fixes. Most of these you can handle yourself with basic tools, and you'll save yourself a service call that could easily run you $150 or more. So the most common issue I see is a busted lid switch. This little guy is what tells the washer it's safe to spin because the lid's closed. When it fails, your washer will fill and agitate like normal, but then it just stops dead before the spin cycle starts. Here's how you know it's the lid switch. When you close the lid, you should hear a distinct click sound. No click, that's your problem right there. I had this customer last month whose washer was doing exactly this, and she was convinced her transmission was shot. Turned out to be a $12 lid switch. To fix it, first unplug the machine and wait 5 minutes for any stored electrical charge to dissipate. Remove the console screws, usually 2 Phillips head screws, to access the switch assembly. Test it with a multimeter set to continuity mode. If there's no continuity when pressed, replace it with a new switch. Critical safety tip: always reconnect that grounding wire securely, or you risk electrical shock and damage to other components. If you hear the motor running or humming during spin cycle but the tub stays completely still, you've likely got a broken motor coupler. This is especially common on direct drive roper models from 1990 to 2005. The telltale sign: check under your washer for black plastic pieces or white rubber chunks. These are fragments from the failed coupler. The coupler is designed to break before your motor or transmission does, so it's actually doing its job. Here's the fix. Disconnect the pump and motor, then remove those old coupler halves from both the motor shaft and transmission shaft using a screwdriver or pry bar. Hammer the new halves on until they're flush. Takes about 30 minutes if you know what you're doing. Here's where things get a bit more involved. When the clutch wears out, it can't provide enough friction to spin that heavy tub full of wet clothes. The motor will run, the clutch hub spins, but the basket just sits there. Your clothes come out sopping wet because all the water that should have been spun out is still in there. Here's how to test your clutch. With the washer empty and unplugged, grab the inner tub and try rotating it by hand. It should feel like you're fighting against moderate resistance, similar to stirring thick cake batter. If the tub spins freely with little to no resistance, your clutch has worn out and needs replacement. The repair involves removing the agitator, pump, motor, and transmission to get to the clutch assembly. You'll slide the old clutch off the transmission shaft and install the new kit with the brake cam driver. Fair warning, you're gonna need an assistant to lean the machine back for access. This one's specific to the newer vertical modular washers, the ones with 6 status lights on the console. The shift actuator moves the transmission between different gears for agitating versus spinning. When it fails, you'll see that lid lock light blinking and the machine gets stuck in the sensing phase. Sometimes you'll get an F7E1 error code too. To fix it, tilt the machine back, remove the pulley cover and belt, then unscrew the actuator from the gear case. After you install the new one, you'll need to run the calibration cycle to get everything synced up properly. If your washer sounds like it's trying to walk across the laundry room during spin cycles, or you hear loud banging noises, your suspension rods are probably shot. These keep the tub centered and absorb vibration, but when they weaken, the tub can actually hit the cabinet walls. The control board detects this and shuts down the spin cycle for safety. You'll notice the tub sitting crooked or leaning toward the back. The fix is straightforward but important. Lift that top panel and replace all 4 suspension rods at the same time. Don't just replace one or two because uneven wear will cause the same problem again in a few months. The motor coupler is the cheapest fix on this list. You're looking at anywhere from $4 to about $34 depending on where you shop. This is definitely a DIY friendly repair, and it's designed to fail to protect your more expensive parts like the motor and transmission. The tricky part is getting to it. You'll need to tilt the washer back to access the bottom. If you're not comfortable doing that, it might be worth having someone help you out. Lid switches typically run between 35 and 42 bucks. You can find them under the top cabinet panel, and the repair difficulty is pretty manageable for most folks. Just remember, never try to bypass this switch permanently because it's a critical safety feature, especially if you've got kids around the house. For the shift actuator, you're looking at around $49 to $52. This one's only on those modular models with the 6 status lights. The repair's not too bad if you're handy, but you will need to calibrate the machine afterward, which means running through the diagnostic cycle. The clutch assembly is going to cost you anywhere from 19 to about 68 bucks. This is probably the most challenging repair on the list. I'd rate it a difficulty level of 2 out of 5, mainly because you need help moving the washer and accessing all those components. But if you're up for it, you can save yourself a couple hundred in labor costs. Suspension rods run $12 to $73 for a complete set, and that's important. Always replace them as a set of 4. One new rod and 3 old ones will just create more imbalance problems down the road. The repair itself is pretty straightforward once you get that top panel off. Let's break down the real costs for each repair. These parts range from $4 to $70, while a service call typically runs $150 to $300 plus parts markup. I'll tell you exactly what each part costs and give you my honest assessment of whether it's DIY friendly or worth calling a pro. Now, you can see right there on your screen the most common roper models that tend to have these spinning issues. Take a look and see if your model number matches any of those. You might even spot your exact washer up there. The direct drive models from the 90s and early 2000s are especially prone to motor coupler problems, while those newer modular units tend to have more shift actuator failures. Here's your action plan. First, test that lid switch click. Takes 30 seconds and fixes 60% of these problems. No click, replace it for about $40. Still not spinning. Check for plastic debris under the washer, indicating a broken motor coupler. From there, move to the clutch hand spin test, then the shift actuator if you have a newer model, and finally those suspension rods if you're hearing banging noises. Most of these repairs will cost you way less than a service call and definitely beat spending 600 bucks on a new washer. If you guys know someone who's having appliance troubles, please send them the link to this video or a link to my channel where I have tons of other videos showing how to fix pretty common issues with appliances, sometimes for free or as little cost as possible. It sure beats having a repairman come out and spending several hundred for them to fix it when it could be something so simple. If this helped you get your roper washer spinning again, hit that like button and drop a comment below. Let me know which fix worked for you. Really helps other people with the same problem. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel. We'll get this out to more folks who need to save some time and money. Thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have a great day.